Coach Tina Martin of Delaware, after a record-breaking season with 31 wins, your first CAA title and advancing to the second round of the NCAA tournament. What are some keys for Delaware to have another successful year?
Well, you know, I think the first thing is that we've got to bring our group together. We've got 6 seniors that everybody's talking about, and certainly our starting 5 is back. However, we also have 6 first-year players, and so half the team is young and half the team is old, and we've got to mesh that together. The biggest key will be defense again. I harp on that all the time. Certainly we have Elena Deladon, who's one of the leading scorers, is the leading scorer in the country, but we've got to really put all of our effort into the defensive end of the floor, and that makes us go and get some easy transition points. And in addition to that, just getting everybody to understand to share the basketball, which we did very well last year, and that's one of the reasons why we had 31 wins.
You mentioned Deladon. Of course, she has obviously been a big part of the Blue Hens for the last 3 seasons now. Talk about her growth and leadership as she goes into her final campaign.
Well, I think the biggest thing with Elena is that she's really become a vocal leader. She was very shy, very unassuming when she came in as a freshman, didn't really say boo to anybody, and now she's calling out plays and yelling to her teammates and telling people where to go. She has a really good grasp of what we're trying to do, and she articulates that well to her teammates. So from that standpoint, she's grown by leaps and bounds. And then defensively, she really understands the game a lot better. She understands where she needs to be to give help side. She understands where to rotate, and that certainly has helped us. She blocking shots and being able to be that presence in the middle for us has been a big help as well. So her game has grown on the floor, but more importantly, her leadership role has really taken off the floor, and that's something that we need.
You've put together a challenging non-conference schedule this season, including Maryland, St. John's, Villanova, and the preseason WNIT. Talk about how that will prepare your team for CAA play and potentially NCAA tournament competition come March.
Well, you know, the bottom line is you want to play against really good teams, and Maryland and St. John's being obviously NCAA teams, and the WNIT coming up is big for our team because right away we're playing great competition. And I feel like these seniors need to be challenged immediately to see where we're at. The season is a long grind, and certainly it's a marathon, not a sprint. So having that in the non-conference portion of it, because I already know the CAA is going to be brutal and very competitive like it is every single year. So the non-conference portion will get us ready for the CAA, and certainly having that kind of competition across the board from non-conference to CAA competition will help us come NCAA time, hopefully.
Well, you've already mentioned Elena, of course, and 4 other starters back. You got the entire unit back. But talk about some of the players you expect to make important contributions.
Well, you know, I think Danielle Parker might be the most underrated player in the CAA. She's a kid that does all the dirty work for us, rebounding the ball, defends the best post player overall, and is just really a tough-minded individual. So she's a big key for us. Lauren Carra, who's our 3-point shooter, has to shoot the ball again well, and also she defends on the perimeter extremely well. And then our backcourt with Tremaine Lucas and Kayla Miller. I think both of them have really done a great job of understanding what needs to be done on the floor, who needs to get the basketball, and so they'll be big keys as well. Akima Richards is a spark plug for us overall. All 5 of our starters really need to come together and play well because, as I mentioned, having all these first-year players and players who really had a smaller role last year now have to step up coming off the bench. We're going to need the Kelsey Buchanans to come off the bench and rebound and defend for us and do a great job. And as I mentioned, Kayla Miller obviously is our backup point guard, and she's done a tremendous job handling her role, accepting her role, and leading this team when she is on the floor. And then I have 2 freshmen out of the 4 that I think could be impact type of players. Courtney Green, I think she shoots the ball very well, and she can really help us. And then Jade Clark, who is coming off of a knee injury from her senior year in high school, but she's coming along, and she can help us with rebounding and knocking down 10 to 15-foot jump shots. So it's a team effort. It always has to be, and that whole group is going to have to really step up and help us.
You were one of 6 teams in the league last year that went into postseason. Is it becoming more challenging to compete in this league, and is the reputation of the CAA continuing to grow?
Well, I think you look at what James Madison did getting to the WNIT finals. Certainly I felt they were an NCAA team as well. And then us being able to win a first-round game and advance to the second round. And certainly we would like to go farther, but that remains to be seen in this season. The CAA has a national reputation now. People know how good our teams are. You look at Hofstra, who has Shantae Evans. You look at, as I mentioned, James Madison. You look at Drexel, and their style of play, and they're always knocking off teams as well. The top 4 or 5 teams in our league can beat anybody on any given night. They're that competitive, and that's why our ranking is 7th best in the country out of the 32 conferences. And I think the nation has really sat up and taken notice that the CAA teams can play, and they are fearful of coming to our home floors. The atmosphere we've created at Delaware, the atmosphere that's been created at James Madison, as well as other schools in our conference, they're tough places to play. So a lot of teams do shy away from playing CAA teams, but there's no doubt in my mind the rest of the coaches in the country know how good the CAA is now, and they realize that they're in for a battle night in and night out when they face any of our teams in this conference.
Tina Martin of the Delaware Blue Hens.
Thank you.